Hey friends, this is Dolynny TV. Glad to have you aboard here this afternoon, this evening, whenever you get a chance to tune in, as we are back underway with the Edmonton Oilers at practice. Obviously, things have gotten shaken up a little bit because we have two new arrivals from Bakersfield this week, to whether it be just fill the spots of Connor McDavid, Matthias Ekholm, and Victor Arvidsson, who are at the Four Nations face-off, or whether it be just to get a new look, as mentioned yesterday in the video last night. Well, we'll take a look and see what these two guys might bring to the Oilers during this week of practice. That said, if you are new to the channel, friends, at any time, feel free to consider hitting that subscribe button. Would love to have you aboard for the stretch run of this season. We're almost to the trade deadline, 7 or so games away. But with that, we go to the Oilers updates today, with Matt Savoie not officially being recalled by the Edmonton Oilers, but he will be soon. The plan is for him to join the team on the upcoming road trip. His Oilers debut is to be decided still, and that's kind of what you got from his little news briefing today. But members of the organization want to see him in game action. As mentioned, the Oilers have 7 games left before the March 7th trade deadline. Oh boy, March 7th is a big, big day, I'll tell you that, as the Oilers will decide their fate going into the NHL playoffs. Now, that was obviously a follow-up to some news from Daniel Nugent-Bowman earlier today. Cue the cat. You know how this goes. Matt Savoie and Derek Ryan have joined the Oilers for practices this week, today and tomorrow, because the Four Nations tournament has resulted in the roster being trimmed. They haven't been officially recalled. Savoie will be, as the second update reads. So there you have it. Obviously, what we knew was going to happen at some point in January was that Noah Philp would make his time with the Edmonton Oilers a little bit more filled out, I guess would be the word, right? He would get a little bit more time on the roster, a little bit expanded role for the Edmonton Oilers. I know he didn't quite see the ice time some of us thought he would, but he made an impression, and that's really all that he was supposed to do in that limited time he saw before the Four Nations face-off break. Now for the Oilers as well, things are getting a little bit more serious. They are truly now contending for first place in the Pacific Division, having held down that spot for several days over the past several weeks. So we'll continue to see how this situation evolves. The Oilers, though, looking for a little bit of a different change, possibly bringing in Savoie to get some game action and just reward him for what has been a stellar second half down in Bakersfield, if you want to break down what's happened so far into two halves. So that moves us into section number 2 of today's action. And Bob Stauffer made about a 30-second update on Evander Kane today on the injury report for James H. Brown on Oilers Now. And obviously, a big time update as we can continue to hear little bit by little bit about Evander Kane. According to Bob Stauffer on Oilers Now today, he heard from sources at Rogers Place that Evander Kane skated today sometime around when the Oilers were out there. So whether that be with the Oilers, again, that update wasn't fully clear, so don't mind me. It was literally a 15, 20, 30-second update from Bob Stauffer saying that he's heard that Kane was on the ice today at some point. And that's, again, good news as he continues to transition back to full work with the Edmonton Oilers, and once again, possibly to being a trade deadline acquisition for the Edmonton Oilers. Yet again, I think that would be year number 3 out of the 4 he's been here with the Oilers. So wild to me that we continue to get the same guy at the deadline every year, but hey, hopefully we are getting the same guy we got at the deadline 4 years ago when Evander Kane joined the Oilers for that series against LA, Calgary, and of course Colorado. Man, that was a year that revived a lot of Oilers fans' passion, mine included. For me personally, I was on a little bit of a leave of absence from YouTube and came back a totally different guy. I at least hope, at least think, compared to where I was, what I was doing prior to the season there where Evander Kane joined the Edmonton Oilers. So yeah, definitely looking forward to seeing what this all means for the Oilers. Obviously, we'll stay tuned for Savoie to be officially recalled. Derek Ryan will likely be back down with Bakersfield Condors before any official move is made. That just goes without saying, as he's kind of filling in a spot down there for the Oilers at this point, so it makes sense. And as well, it's Matt Savoie's show to run now for a few games. Like I said, Noah Philp got his opportunity, and as we said earlier, we knew that opportunity was coming. We knew at some point this season the opportunity was going to come for Matt Savoie. It was kind of built into the whole kind of way of the land for the season was Noah Philp would get his chance, then Matt Savoie would get his chance later in the season. And prior to the trade deadline, the Oilers do have a couple in needs up front. And by testing out Philp and Savoie, they can kind of read off if they need to add some guys there. And I think definitely this move for Matt Savoie right now, especially with Victor Arvidsson coming back from the Four Nations break, is more or less just maybe about giving the right wing a little bit of a break while also solidifying the right wing in case a guy with noted injury history like Victor Arvidsson goes down for an extended period down the stretch, or heaven forbid into the playoffs. And then as well, you get into the situation where Corey Perry, well, he's going to need a couple games off at some point here down the stretch. So if you get Matt Savoie mixed in there, that's not going to be a bad thing. But you need to know that he can hold his own in a pressure cooker situation like the Oilers will be down the stretch here past the trade deadline. So at least giving Savoie some games where, you necessarily lose one that you shouldn't. It's not going to doom the season here before the deadline. At least you don't think, given the way Connor's playing at the Four Nations. But hey, hold on. Plenty to be proven wrong about here yet. But for the Oilers, definitely it is critical to get these two guys game time. They've done it with Philp. Whether we see him before the end of the year or not again, that remains to be seen. I doubt we see Derek Ryan and Kia unless there's an injury. And then, well, Matthew Savoie just kind of gets his opportunity now and joining the team out east as they fly out, I believe, on Thursday morning is what Bob Stauffer said on Oilers Now tonight. So the Oilers will get to Philadelphia in time for the Four Nations face-off game out east in Boston. And then away we go with, what will be a great weekend of Edmonton Oilers hockey here as we transition now. Tomorrow's the 19th, 20th, Thursday's 21st, Thursday's 20th, 21st on Friday, and then the 22nd we're back to action. So looking forward to seeing what the Edmonton Oilers have in store for us as this week continues. But for right now, obviously, practice is kind of the key for the Oilers. And Four Nations, we're just on a little bit of a break, waiting for Connor to go game breaker mode in the winner-take-all championship final on Thursday. Quite honestly, I'm looking forward to that one. I think my schedule's got me conflicted a few times over, so we'll see how catching that game looks. But looking forward to at least catching the tail end of it here once we get back home. So, friends, thanks for being aboard here today. I know a little bit of an extended talking edition, but you know what? It's not much going on other than a couple key roster moves and an injury update here on a Tuesday coming on a long weekend. Thanks for being aboard. I am up on, gone.